Hey guys, today I'm going over the top 5 best intelligence spells in Elden Ring. Keep in mind I'm not ranking these in any order, and also comment down below on some weapons you think deserve a spot on this list. Now with that out of the way, let's get into it. For our first weapon we have the Death's Poker. The Death's Poker is a frost weapon that is mixed with intelligence. Its Ash of War Ghost Flame Ignition inflicts frost onto enemies when they get hit by it, and it's super overpowered because of how much damage it can do. We're also going to be pairing it up with Carrion Slicer to make the spell as best as possible. The Carrion Slicer takes minimal of FP, so you can spam it as much as possible. So with this build, you're going to be insanely overpowered. Then for the build, you're going to have Death's Poker maxed out with the Lucid's Glintstone Staff. This is going to be what we're going to be using Carrion Slicer for. Any seal you like. Then for the armor, use the full Spell Blade set, because this boosts intelligence. Then for your talismans, use Magic Scorpion Charm, Carrion Furgreath Crest, Godfrey Icon, and Alexander Shard. For your buffs, use Terra Magica and Golden Vow, and Howl of Shubiri. Then for your flask, use Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear with Green Burst Crystal Tear. With this build, you're going to be extremely overpowered. This build has magic mixed with frost, so you can do Carrion Slicer while using the Death's Poker, so you can stack damage as fast as possible. So if you want a OP build that stacks damage quick, this build is one to check out. For our next build, we have the Darkmoon Greatsword. The Darkmoon Greatsword got nerfed many times, but even still, the weapon is still really strong. The Ash of War Moonlight Greatsword launches a magic projectile that does a good amount of damage. The way you get this sword is by completing Rani's quest, but it's worth it for how good it looks on you. It also scales really well with magic, so that's why it's one of the best magic weapons right now. For your build we have Darkmoon Greatsword with the list Glintstone Staff. This staff is going to put down Terra Magica, and if you need to, you can also use Carrion Slicer. Then you can use any seal you like. For the armor, I'm using Spellblade set because this is going to boost magic damage. Our talismans are Magic Scorpion Charm, Radicon Icon, Godfrey Icon, and Alexander Shard. Our buffs are going to be Golden Vow and Terra Magica. Then for our flask, we're going to use Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear, Spike Cracked Tear. This build is fun and powerful, and it has a mix of fast attacks and decent amounts of damage. The sword also looks really good, so if you want a cool looking and powerful sword with fast attacks, this build is a build that you're going to want to try. Next is the Night Mage build. This build is full of night sorceries, and these sorceries basically make bosses' health drain with ease. Our main sorcery will be Night Comet, because it is one of the most powerful sorceries in the game. We're also going to mix it with Moonveil. With this build, you're not going to have any weak points. The armor also suits this build really well. This build is definitely one of the most overpowered on this list. For the build, we have Moonveil, which is our last resort. Then for our main weapon, the Staff of Loss. This boosts night sorceries by 30%. That's why the staff is perfect. For our armor, we have the Witch's Glintstone Crown. This boosts potency of 9 sorceries. Then use the Rakshasa set for the rest. It's light and it's one of the best armors. For our talismans, use Magic Scorpion Charm, Beloved Stardust, Godfrey Icon, and Heaven Mass Talisman. Then for your buffs, we have Terra Magica and Golden Vow. Then we have our sorceries, the Night Comet, which is going to be our main sorcery, and Ambush Shard, which will be our secondary. For the Wondrous Physique, use Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear with Spike Cracked Tear. This build is by far one of the most fun and cool looking builds, and it's really overpowered. So if you want this build, make sure to try it out, because it's really good. Next is Moonveil. This is a katana that has magic. You could also either use it like a normal katana or use the built-in Ash of War, Transient Moonlight, which shoots out a horizontal or vertical wave of magic. Why this weapon is so good is because you take a decent chunk of health with the Transient Moonlight, and we can also pair this with Carrion Slicer for extra damage if we need to. Now for the build, we have the Moonveil paired with the Carrion Glintstone Staff. This staff is going to boost Carrion spells, which we are going to pair with the Moonveil. You can use any seal you like. For the armor, use the Twin Sage Helm. This is going to boost your intelligence. For your body, use the Rakshasa set. But if you don't want to, you can use the Spellblade sets. For the talismans, use Magic Scorpion Charm, Graven Mass Talisman, Renala's Cameo, and Alexander Shard. For the buffs, use Golden Vow and Terra Magica. With the two sorceries, Carrion Phalanx and Great Blade Phalanx. Then for the goal, use Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear with Green Burst Cracked Tear. This build is insanely overpowered and cool to use. You can hit bosses all the time, either with your spells or with Moonveil. That's why this build is so good, because it's really flexible. For our last build on the list, we have the Wing of Astel build. This build is just out of its league. If you can get it right, the damage on the weapon is insane, and you will kill bosses with ease. It's also really simple to use. It mainly scales with intelligence, and it has a unique skill called Nebula. This makes like a portal and takes a huge chunk of health. The build is just really fun to use also. For our build, we have the Wing of Astel as our main weapon. We are going to use the Commander Standard as a buff with any seal of your choice. Then use the Spell Blade set. This is going to increase the damage for our weapon ability. For the talismans, use the Ritual Sword Talisman, Magic Scorpion Charm, Alexander Shard, and Axe Talisman. Then for your buffs, use Howler Shibiri. For your flask, use Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear and Stone Barb Cracked Tear. The way you use this build is by using Howler Shibiri, doing the ability with your Commander Standard, drink your flask, then you just use the ability. It's that simple. This weapon with this build is just extremely overpowered, and you definitely need to give it a shot. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and comment out some builds you would think should be added in the future videos. Also, if you want to see another build video, watch my video on the best bleed builds. See you there.